Hi everyone, it's Peter from PS Sound, and this is now the follow-up video of the introduction of this M6 we shared at the beginning of the week. Now you can see what we've done. As quite often I say, BMW is a fantastic platform for audio because you don't have to do crazy amount of custom fabrication. You can use the factory speaker locations and you can get pretty good results. I'm going to explain why in this video, as well as showing what we've done. Because usually most shops would knock a system out in a car like this in a single day. 2-3 guys jump on it, they upgrade the speakers, put in a DSP amp, and you know, bish bash bosh, it's quickly done. We spent 4 days on it. Between 3 of us we did almost 10 days work, which makes all the difference. You can only really hear the difference once you ever listen to a car we built. It will be, you know, obvious straight away. So let's go to the back first. You will see what happened here. So as it was requested, we wanted to keep one side of the boot available. So if the double side of the rear seat is tipped, then it's still fully functional. Even this way, something can be loaded through the ski hatch hole. We built a custom enclosure there, sits to the side and it's bolted in, so it's not going to slide anywhere. We use the factory mounting point, which you can see here, the hook. There's one on that side, so from the inside of the box it's bolted against the sidewall, and then it's safe, it's solid. Nice and simple. It's roughly 1.2 cubic foot, so around 34 litre enclosure built from plywood. Yeah, it was a bit of a puzzle because the back of the box is not straight. So whereas this wedge box could be done quickly, this wasn't quick. And we just created a panel on those two sides, trimmed with vinyl, so it leaves a nice and clean finish with a GLW3, as you could see from the introduction video. The whole floor, the parcel shelf, everything was deadened. So there's deadening underneath the carpet. You can't really see against the light, but we put self-adhesive backed carpet to cover deadening, so it leaves a cleaner finish. Down here we managed to find nice space for the amps. So we have a Helix V8DSP. It's an HNO DSP with a pair of RCA output, which goes into the Helix M One monoblock running the sub. The sub is 2 ohm single voice core, so this way we get decent output. This is the USB cable I will have to unplug as soon as we finish everything. Fuse holders down there on the sides, 2 fuse holders coming off the battery, separating the power. Also the good thing in BMWs is that the ground point is right there, factory ground point you can go onto. The SDMI box is here on the side underneath this panel that you can't see now unless it's taken out. But now if I drop in a picture, then you can see where it's located, where we get the fiber optic link and optical output from that straight into the DSP amp. And that's where the factory amplifier sits as well, the Harman & Kardon amplifier, where we can tap into the factory speaker lines. So it's relatively easy to get a system in these. Up front, well, that's a beautiful thing in these OEM upgrades, that you can't tell what's been done. That's not the Harman & Kardon tweeter. We use the Steg BMW upgrade option, and even in the previous video I got comments that it looks pretty much exactly the same thing as Harman & Kardon. What's the difference? And then people were saying, oh, this mid-range is not doing this, it's not playing that. All the usual things. Well, if you're really interested in the measurement results of what the system is doing, if you want to see how the system got tuned, if you want to understand the background of all these things, then please go to the description where you will find a link to Patreon, where you will find all this behind the scene content, and we will break it down. We will explain how these systems get tuned and how they become more than just many speakers making noise. It's a proper system playing music like, you know, a live concert right in front of you. So you won't see anything from the speakers. That's the beautiful thing, because we have mid-tweet each front door. We have coax at the back, but you could use a two-way component set at the back as well in this car. Other BMWs only allow for a coax, but this one has exactly the same layout, mid and tweet, but the mid and the tweeter is under the grille at the back, whereas here it's separated but pretty close. So the mid and tweet here runs semi-active. Yes, you could wire it fully active, but in these cars, if you want a simple solution, it can work really well. The drivers are relatively close and similar axis, vertical axis, and to be fair, if anything, these Steg speakers, especially the tweeters, work way better than most of the other plug-and-play options we've used before from Focal, Audio-Tech Fisher, Ground Zero. They all have BMW options, and for Mercedes as well, but I was pleasantly surprised that these tweeters don't play only just the very top end like other sets, and these have response lower down, so you don't end up having a huge dip, but you can see that on Patreon from the tuning video. So you have more transparent system, and this tweeter is not harsh, which is a beautiful thing. It sounds nice and natural. We also upgraded the center fill, because Helix has a center fill algorithm, real center it's called, I think. Once you tune that properly through virtual routing and you enable center fill, then it only plays the mono signal. It doesn't play anything from left or right, it only plays whatever was recorded in mono. And in these cars it can be beneficial for both front passengers, giving a bit more stage height, because the factory mid-range is a bit low. But if you use a center fill, then it can lift the center, and yeah, it becomes rock solid, especially from driver's position. Center is undeniable. It's not just like, you know, oh, roughly there, it's there. It's bang, it's right there, which is also a two-way set with mid-range and tweeter, but only using a single channel. So this way we have 1, 2, 3 channels. Then under seat 8-inch drivers were also upgraded. That's another 2, that's 5 channels. Then we have rear fill running as differential. I always say it's different than normal rear fill. So they only play more like an effect. They only play the effect that from left and right. They don't play anything mono, as opposed to the center. Center does just that. It plays only the mono signal. The differential rear fill plays only the stereo content. So it helps to create more ambience, more room information, and it doesn't screw up your front staging at all. You just sit in and you can control the level of it through the little controller we fitted here from Helix. This is the conductor. So if you press it once, we end up in the sub menu, so you can set the level of the sub. If you press it one more time, then this is the rear fill. You can turn the rear fill down, set it to whatever level you like. And then if you press it one more time, then you would end up in the presets. Currently we only have one preset, but if you had more, it's only red, because we don't have anything allocated to those. But you can have many presets. You would just get there, press and hold, and it would change the profile of your sound settings straight away. And in 5 seconds, if you don't touch it, if it's inactive, it goes back to main. Simple as that. Otherwise this is the master. But if you run through the SDMI, then your volume is there. So that's simple to use. Even steering wheel functions fully work. And if anything, I really like how BMW heads-up display. Oh, we can't. Can I see it now? Oh, I can't see it now. Maybe you have to start the car. Usually it shows it there now, but you can see it through the heads-up display as well, those songs, and you just click and it goes. So that easy. It's definitely easy to live with. It plays lossless files, and there's a huge storage hard drive in here. Where is it? There you go. There's a hard drive there with all those folders. So it's that easy to live with this. There you go, click and it goes. Simple as that. So technically now we are using only 7 channels from the 8-channel amplifier. To be fair, we wired up the parcel shaft speakers in mono, but we didn't see much point of it. It doesn't have any benefit added to the system, so we just ended up muting it. But this way it's relatively simple. If you wanted something simpler, you could use the Matchline BMW 7-up amplifier, which gives you exactly 7 channels, what you need in these cars. As I also mentioned, as we use 7 channels, that's a little bit cheaper, works pretty well. But if you can stretch the budget, then the Helix V8DSP is always a better option, especially if you add a monoblock as well for a subwoofer, because these under seats are not subs, these are bass drivers, but they don't play as low. But at least they don't rattle like speakers indoors. Well, not as much. Yeah, you can't hear it inside too much. The outside rattles a bit, but we can live with that. So this is the little simple project we did. At the end of this video now you will see all the pictures of the whole build process, because we soundproofed the wheel arches, all the door cards and everything. You will see what's the extra work that went into it to make it special. I mean, yeah, we don't do single day little upgrades, never. Hopefully you liked it. Feel free to share it, comment on it as any other time. Also subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. And then, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, please go to the description. You can see links to our social media channels, as well as to the web shop and website. You can check out all the equipment, what we used in this car. Well, I may make a list in the description as well, then you can see exactly what's been used, what went into it. And if you're interested in you know, hearing a system like this, the owner mentioned that if you're around Bristol area, then you might have a chance to listen to it here in the UK. Then you will get a perfect idea of what the system sounds like. Well, hopefully you liked it. If you want to see more, please go to Patreon. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Take care.